Hello and welcome back. So we're now going to try installing a Etherlink 3 network card on the ISA bus from 3Com, because maybe the fault is not with the network card but actually with the PCI bus. The great thing about failure is that you learn something new. In other words, that the problems that we're having are great because it means that we're going to actually discover maybe something else, or we're going to learn something new. The network card from 3Com comes with 3 different types of internet connections or network connections, and you actually have to tell the computers, via the floppy disk, well, you're actually telling the network card which connection you're going to use. So this little piece of software here actually tells us, allows us to tell it what we're going to use. So as you can see here, it's an Etherlink 3 16-bit ISA adapter. Now it's 16-bit because it uses the full length of the ISA slot and not just the first half of it, which is the 8-bit. So we'll have here, have a look at the configuration. Hold on a second. Excuse me. So it's actually, I used the automatic configuration here just a moment ago. So you can see here we have it set to, this is the address, which you may need to change depending on the motherboard. Some motherboards will conflict with that address with the parallel port other ports. IRQ3, again, you may have to change that depending on the system. Generally the settings that are done are automatic, and they're generally the ones that aren't going to conflict with something else, but you may have another card in here, or another network card here that conflicts with it. For example, you may have an existing network card that's on the machine that's faulty, and you may want to change this. So if I click on automatic configure, what it's going to do is it's actually going to detect, there we are now. Right, so the adapter's I/O base address, interrupt request level and transceiver type have been automatically selected. It is recommended that you reboot the computer after exiting the diagnostic and configuration program. Okay, so we can modify these manually if we really want to. See? Right, cancel, we don't want to do that. So if we click on tab like this, we can then click on that one. We can do Alt and M, which will allow me to modify. So now you see you have the choices. So you have the onboard TCP. Now this is the one everybody's going to want to choose at the moment. The next most popular one would be the onboard coax or BNC, British Naval connection. Now the BNC connection is the old style of coaxial cable, where machine would be linked up in a daisy chain. The problem with the old BNC is that if one machine broke down on the chain, one network card, for example, was faulty, the whole network will fall flat on its ass. The RJ45 connection is a fantastic connection. That's why we still use it today, because it's a point-to-point connection. So one PC over here, one network over here, and it's point-to-point. So if one particular PC or server, printer, whatever the hell's on the network fails, the rest of the network doesn't go flat on its ass with it. The last one is the external, actually it has it there, yeah, it's on this as well. The last one will be the ThickNet. I had never seen this in the wild. It basically looks like a game port slot on the back of the network card. I've never seen one of these in the wild. I've only ever dealt with RJ45 and coax BNC, so I'm no expert. I actually used BNC quite a bit on my first network, and I had great crack with it. Myself and my brother were messing about with our first network before we decided RJ45 was available, but we were trying to do things on the cheap and see what we could play around with. So our first network we played around with was the coax, and we played Duke Nukem 3D in it over the network for hours on end, and it works very, very well. Providing every computer on the network doesn't fail, there's no problem. And it's such a simple network to set up. If you're going to go and set up a network, for example, where you use a null modem cable, it is going to take you a lifetime. But if you have if you've just got basically 2 simple network cards with the BNC connector on the rear of them, you can literally connect one cable into that port, one cable into the other machine, and Bob's your uncle, you've got yourself a little network. You may want to put an IP address on each client, but that's not really a problem. It works, and that's what's great about it. It's nice and simple. With Duke Nukem, what you can do is you set up one machine as the server and one machine as the client, and it automatically, basically hands out IP addresses. So it's fantastic. Okay, now, so that's all fine. We're going to leave everything as it is, say OK to that. Specify configuration now being saved to the adapter. That's done. So now we can do a run test actually. I don't know whether it'll let me do this without do a start. Yeah, there you are. So it's now basically sending a signal down the network and back again to test to see if everything's working. So as far as this is concerned, we're good to go. So we're now going to basically come out of here. Adapter information, actually, more information on the adapter. This particular floppy disk is a configuration disk that came with the network card. You need this to change stuff on it. If you don't have this and it's set to, let's say, BNC or whatever, that's going to be an issue. So you can see there the network statistics. Okay. So we're now going to go exiting this. Exit that. Number 5, exit the DOS. And now what we do is we take the floppy disk out and we boot Windows back up again and see what happens. So here we go. So now we've configured the network adapter to operate with the RJ45. With any luck now, we're going to have a situation where it will basically let us go onto the network. Because that was our problem. The machine kept on restarting every time we detected a network card. So it's a major pain in the bum this. But it's great, as I said, because it means that we can go through the process of elimination on the machine and try to figure out where the fault could be. The fault can be in so many places on a computer, especially these old ones. It's not even funny. So we've just got to go through a process of elimination. This board has been sitting around for a good few years, so that's also a problem. When a board is sitting around for a long time, it wouldn't necessarily cause any trouble to it, but you know what I mean, you might have forgotten why you put it away in the first place. A lot of boards I've put away, I test them at the time, put them away and they were working fine, but they've been lying around for a while, so you know, God only knows what's going on with them. Good news is we're in Windows at least this time and it hasn't crashed. So it should detect that network card with any luck and start installing it. So we'll see now if it detects it. Might not. No, it didn't detect it. So what you can do here in Windows is you can actually ask Windows to search for and detect non-plug and play devices. So we're going to go into settings, control panel, by the way, that's the disc that I have an original disc. I actually came across that long after I was using these machines. I used to install them for customers but never actually kept the floppy disk because I didn't see the point. And then I happened to come across an old machine that a good few years back. And I was like, oh, that floppy disk actually might be handy. And I was like, oh, Ethernet 3 or Etherlink 3, that's it. That's the one I'm after. So we're going to go and see, it's not listed in there now, that's good. We click on refresh. I don't think it didn't detect it booting into Windows, so it's unlikely going to detect it now. See if it comes up. No. Okay. So go in here, click on next. It's now going to basically, what that's going to do there is it's actually going to detect devices that are plug and play or devices that aren't plug and play. So it didn't detect the plug and play ones, and that's going to go for ones that basically what Windows is doing here is going to basically check out IRQ ports and addresses to find out if anything's there basically on the system that wasn't there before. It may also then find something on the system and then probe it if it hasn't got a driver for it already installed, and then ask it and say, look, what are you? It'll usually come back and answer them, I'm a network card, and Windows will say, okay, what network card are you? It will have, in this case, the driver to install it, so it won't matter, so it'll install no problem at all and it should work. Anyway, I'm going to let this run the detection process, and we're up to 10 minutes yet again, unfortunately. So these videos eventually I will amalgamate into one big video, but I'm going to put them out as a part series. That way it'll keep you looking at my channel for a while, and it will allow me to add in any other videos along the way that may be needed for updates. But that's it for the moment. Thank you very much for watching my video, and if you like, please thumbs up. If you don't like, please thumbs down. But either way, please leave your comment in the comment section below, as without comments and without feedback and without you telling me I'm an absolute idiot for not doing such and such a thing, I will never learn anything. Because again, a lot of this stuff is stuff I've done back in the day, and I can forget things. So I'm hoping that I'm helpful to you, and I'm hoping that you guys can be helpful to me as well at the same time. So thank you very much. Bye bye. See you in a few minutes.